Welcome. What is up? Welcome to This Week in the Mixer, Season 2, Episode 8. Post World Cup, post All-Star break, and post NBA free agency, we'll say. It's been a crazy week. Hard to believe all the stuff that's happened in the last week in the sports world. So, first off, I want to start by giving shouts to my little nephew. You may or may not have heard. I haven't made it a big deal. I did mention it at the end of one of the last videos, but I mean, believe it or not, he contracted, infected. I'm not sure what the term is, but he got E. coli from the fair. So did my sister. I guess there's 10 documented cases now, and they were 2 of them. And since he's not even 3 yet, he's about 2.5. It hit him pretty hard, and I mean, it was pretty touch and go. There was one day where they legitimately did not know if he was going to make it. They put him in the ICU at Children's Hospital. Had to do dialysis on him. Luckily only for a day, and they gave him like the one few hour treatment of dialysis, and that seemed to give his kidneys the rest that it needed, and he started to improve. He's been a little bit better each day, and they're even talking about him maybe coming home this weekend. So that's what we're hoping for. But yeah, shouts to that little guy. He's strong. He battled that shit. Came back. He's a fighter. Super happy. Super happy that he's okay now. And yeah, just wanted to bring him up. Thinking about him a lot. Giving him all the strength that I got to give. Anyway, moving on from that, first wanted to start off with a little soccer talk. The women made us proud, won their 4th World Cup, right? Yeah, 4 stars now, 3rd in a row, and did so pretty easily against the Netherlands. The game wasn't really in doubt. They really dominated them in every phase of the game. Kind of a questionable penalty kick call. Well, it wasn't really a questionable penalty. It's just one of those VAR penalties that, only in the era of VAR that we're in now is that called and given as a PK. It's technically the right. It's the right call to make. I think there's still some fine-tuning with the VAR. I'm glad that they're getting it right. I'm glad that it's in place. I don't agree with these people who want to take it away, because there's gonna be missed calls that, if they took it away, people would just complain, oh, they have the technology, why aren't they using it? I feel like sports fans do a lot of tail chasing, and this goes for everything. It's NFL replay. Instant replay was or video replay was like the greatest thing when it first came out, and now a lot of people are criticizing it. Nobody knows what a catch is. You see it I've seen it a lot in racing. There was in Formula 1, there was no passing, so they made these big tracks that had a lot of space on it. Also, those tracks used to have grass and gravel pits on the outside, and I remember people back then watching the race. The driver made one little mistake, and he ended up in the grass, and or in the gravel, and their car would get stuck. And most racing rules, if the car can't move, It can't be moved to rejoin the race. It has to go under its own power. And so anyway, people called for there to be like asphalt runoff, and now everybody's complaining, oh, there's too much asphalt runoff. There's no penalty for these guys going off track. So there's all these penalties, and I don't know. So there's just a ton of examples in sports of fans like chasing their tails, trying to get the regulations right. They fix something and it just creates another problem, and I don't know. I think it's good that VAR's in place, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Hopefully they can fine tune it so they're not so specific with every little call. But anyway, that all being said, it was definitely should have been a PK, and Rapinoe got a goal in World Cup final. Great to see on that PK. And then Rose Lavelle, one of Cincinnati's finest. Shouts to my Midwest connection. She gets a goal, seals it. U.S. cruises, and they have another World Cup victory. I'm proud of them. Went through a lot of adversity. Still going to be challenged in the off season. Well, not off season, but post World Cup. Glad to see Alex Morgan is able to walk after all the drinking that she's done. I pray for any Disneyland or Disney World security guard. Hopefully she keeps it under control. But I mean, hey, lady just won a World Cup. She can let loose. Why not? But yeah, don't really have much else to say with the women winning the World Cup that hasn't already been said. Hopefully the women's game will, advance a little bit. I know that there's going to be a lot of Premier League teams that are going to have women's teams after this. We'll see if the shift of power moves from the U.S. to Europe, if that league becomes more prominent. But yeah, I mean, it'd be awesome to have a women's sport that actually gets some notoriety and that people watch on a regular basis, other than tennis. But yeah, congrats to them. Quickly, don't have too much time. It's going to be a short one today. I wanted to talk about the Gold Cup final between the U.S. and Mexico, the Aria Cup Part 2. It was a close game, which I guess is what I kind of predicted. The refereeing of the game was disappointing. And, there was a lot of discussion about Mexico getting away with some calls, and it's definitely true. Guardado did put his hand around McKinney's throat, which, yeah, I've seen that given as a red. I've also seen it ignored or just as yellow. So, there was some other bullshit. I really didn't like the one where, I can't remember which defender it was for Mexico, when he jumped on Josie's back. Kind of made it look like he fell, but that was kind of horseshit. That one really rubbed me the wrong way, because I mean, he took Josie down as on a foul, like, okay, whatever. But then to, like, I don't know, to do that, you're basically purposely trying to hurt the dude, and make it look like an accident. That one really didn't sit well with me. But I can't really blame Mexico because their team, because the U.S. was getting away with some fouls at the start of the game, and Mexico was complaining to the refs, looking for cards. I remember one specifically where Josie, he tackled, I can't remember which Mexico player it was, but I think it was the guy who ended up jumping on his on his back later on. Maybe it was payback. But he, had spikes up and got the guy in the back of his leg, like slid through him from the back. And I thought that should have been a yellow for sure. I've seen that given as a red in some games, like a straight red. So, the refs were complaining, or excuse me, the Mexico team was complaining to the refs about letting him get away, letting this kind of rough play get away with no cards given. And they saw that the ref was being pretty conservative with the cards, to say the least, and so they adjusted their play accordingly, and they got away with some of that later in the game. I don't really think it made a difference in the game necessarily. Of course, if a red would have been given, had like in either one of the Guardado choking incident or the knee in the back to Josie incident, that could have changed the game significantly, having someone sent off. But I don't think the outcome of the game, 11 versus 11, was changed because Mexico was getting away with calls. I'd say they got away with more, but I don't think it kept the U.S. from scoring any goals, if that makes any sense, and led to any Mexico goals. The one goal in the game, who scored it? Was it Jimenez? I can't remember who scored for Mexico, but it was a hell of a goal. The way they had to pass the ball around, the nice little, was it a heel pass? I don't know, to set up the shot. There's not really much you can do to defend that shot, except if you're a goalie and try to actually stop it, which the U.S. goalie did not do. He looked like he thought that it was going to go over the net, and it hit the bar and went down and in. So he's no Tim Howard. He doesn't have that magic touch to not go for the save, and then the ball like just misses. It seemed like Tim Howard was one of the best at that. So that was the one goal that made the difference. Josie had probably the best chance of the game. He should have pulled it to the left post instead, shot for the outside, and just missed. Really disappointing from the player that's supposed to be your best striker. Was hoping to get more out of him. He did set up some nice scoring opportunities, which I don't know if there's any other striker that could set those up. I know he had some nice little flicks to Pulisic. So, I think at this point it's just a missing piece. I don't think Tyler Boyd could have really done any better in that situation. Zardes definitely couldn't have done any better. So, I think it's just a piece that the U.S. still has to find to fill out this roster. And I'm not really sure, if there's anybody coming up in the ranks that can. Maybe Josh Sargent. I'm not sure if he plays on the wing or if he plays up front like Josie does. But hopefully we got some young talent that can fill that gap, because I think there's going to be a lot better results once they do fill that hole. Mexico wins 1-0, taking the Gold Cup. The other thing I was going to say is you could really see the disappointment in McKinney and Pulisic's face after the game when they were accepting their awards. I know Pulisic got a Young Player Award of some sort. I'm not sure what McKinney got, but shouts to him for also making captain for the game. That's awesome for him. he doesn't have that many caps, and to get, you know, the captain's armband for the Gold Cup final against Mexico, it's pretty awesome. So he must be doing a really good job in practice. He must be showing, you know, some leadership potential. So or this coach doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. So but anyway, I was excited to see that. But yeah, getting back to it, you can see they were really disappointed. You know, they wanted to do better. They wanted to win. They felt like the win was there, and they just couldn't quite make it. And it's kind of encouraging to see them, like, you know, not satisfied with what would be a moral victory, a close loss to Mexico. You could tell they were really upset. I don't know if they were upset at the refs, or if they were just disappointed that they couldn't get a goal in. But I like it. I like the you know, the emotion that they had. I had somebody at work. It really bothered me. This lady, she you know, she's a Mexico fan, and she said the two players after the game. She said the guy who missed the goal when he went up and accepted his award, he was such a poor sport because he was making a face. And I told her, first of all, the guy who missed the goal was Josie Altidore, and he didn't get an award. You know, so you know, they all don't look alike, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And then number two, like, that's not what a poor sport is to me. I don't know. I actually looked it up, and like the actual definition of being a poor sport is really vague. It just says behaving in a, like, unsportsman like manner, or a way that isn't befitting of like a competitive sports or something like that. Basically like anything other than, like, doing your job on the field and, like, showing any emotion is, I guess, considered unsportsmanship by the definition. But I mean, to me, a poor sport is like, it's like degrading your opponent, or, you know, like showing somebody up, that sort of thing. And they weren't, you know, I didn't see any, like, ill will from those players towards the Mexico players. They were just upset that they didn't win, and they weren't satisfied with getting that trophy. And you know, I think it was well within their rights of having those emotions. And I was really bothered by my coworker, and I let her know about it. So yeah, it looks like the rivalry is heating up, you know, just in time for family viewings, and battling for my daughter's fandom, I guess. But yeah, I'm pulling up now. Just some quick thoughts on baseball. What was it? Brad Hand is Brad Hand our old closer? I'm not sure who our current closer is. Kirby Yates. There we go. I got it. Didn't even get in the game, in the All-Star game. Unfortunate. Vlad Guerrero Jr. hit all the home runs. He's not hitting for my fantasy team. And Pete Alonso won the home run derby. So, in shocker of the century, the AL team won again. I haven't got a chance to rewatch the home run derby, or even watch it at all. Hopefully I get the chance. The app wasn't working for me when I tried to watch it at work today. What else we got? Melvin Gordon's holding out. Maybe we'll talk about that. You know, I expect the holdout to last a little longer, so maybe I'll bring that up in the next video. And Kawhi is a Clipper, not a Laker. So, you know, as a lifelong Kawhi fan, I'm excited. You know, rooting for the Lakers has never felt right. I'm glad that you know, I have another second team in LA to root for. And yeah, I'm excited for next season. Hopefully I can actually watch some basketball, some regular season this year, now that I have somewhat of a rooting interest. And what else we got? Russell Westbrook to the Rockets, right? So it's fun seeing these players in new places. The NBA is wild. I want to watch more of it. You know, and now that I'm fully integrated into the Premier League, maybe basketball's next. So that's all I got for now. Again, shout out to my nephew, Cristiano. Hang in there, little dude. We'll see you soon. I will see you guys soon. Let's get it. See ya.